technology to be a little more effective.
Lexington's restaurants are lowering prices, but not quality, thanks to a local promotion.
And find out which local school is using unicycles to make an after-school program a little more fun.
All of that and more on the Rockbridge Report.
Live from the campus of Washington and Lee University with news for Rockbridge County, this is the Rockbridge Report.
Welcome to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Kinsey Grant.
And I'm Stephen Young.
Ousted Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovych has resurfaced in Russia after fleeing the country. The Ukraine is in the middle of a decision that would either align them with the European Union or see them join a Russian-led group. The Ukrainian parliament voted to remove Yanukovych after over 70 protesters died in fights between pro-Russian and pro-Western groups, an action the former president calls a coup. Yanukovych's appearance occurred as gunmen stormed and captured a government building in the Ukraine's southern Crimea region. They now fly the Russian flag over the building. The Ukrainian parliament met in Kiev today to announce the members of their interim government. New Ukrainian Prime Minister Arseniy Yatsenyuk has stated he believes Ukraine's future lies with the European Union, but wants to maintain good relations with Russia. Yanukovych has denounced the new Ukrainian government as illegitimate and is expected to hold a news conference in Russia tomorrow. Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel announced major military spending cuts earlier this week. CNN's Karen Kaifa explains how every branch will be affected.
Since 9/11, the U.S. military has bulked up its resources, enabling it to wage wars in Afghanistan, Iraq, and a global war on terror. Now, in a carefully crafted plan announced Monday at the Pentagon, the military says it will scale back to force levels not seen since before World War II.
We must now adapt, innovate, and make difficult decisions to ensure that our military remains ready and capable.
The details: the Army will reduce its forces from a high of 570,000 to around 450,000 troops. The Marine Corps will cut its forces by 8,000, or about 4%. And the elimination of the A-10 Warthog attack jet, which would save $3.5 billion over 5 years.
Our recommendations favor a smaller and more capable force, putting a premium on rapidly deployable self-sustaining platforms that can defeat more technologically advanced adversaries.
The cuts not only reflect a changing political climate, but also an evolution in how the military engages its enemies. Case in point, cyber warfare and special operations will not be impacted.
If you're going to conduct counterterrorism operations, it relies more heavily on great intelligence and great technology.
Critics argue fewer resources will leave the U.S. more vulnerable to attacks at home and abroad. Hagel recognized these cuts do not come without uncertainty.
Our future force will assume additional risks in certain areas.
The Pentagon will present its plan to Congress next week. In Washington, I'm Karen Kaifa.
Virginia lawmakers are still working on several bills aimed at overhauling the state's mental health care system. One reform is an extension of the amount of time a potential mental health patient can be held in emergency custody. The House of Delegates divided into separate bills a measure that the state Senate passed unanimously on February 10th. The original Senate bill was proposed by Senate Cree Deeds, whose district includes Rockbridge County. In November, Deeds was stabbed multiple times by his 24-year-old son Gus, who then took his own life. Democratic Governor Terry McAuliffe met with Republican lawmakers yesterday to urge them to reconsider their vote. The Republican-led House of Delegates voted against accepting federal Medicaid money 2 days ago, money that could provide health care to as many as 400,000 low-income residents. House Republicans said the Medicaid program needs to be reformed before it can be expanded and suggested that government promises to cover the cost of the expansion couldn't be trusted.
In Lexington, Cornerstone Bank's founding CEO and president, David Geist, passed away Sunday morning. He was 57 years old. Hundreds of people gathered at the bank last night to visit his family. The line of people stretched all the way to the Nelson Street Bridge. The bank's vice president, Frank Friedman, says Cornerstone will remind people of Geist. The funeral was held in Manly Memorial Baptist Church this morning. Local police are getting some 21st century equipment they hope will boost cooperation among departments in the Rockbridge area. Olivia Hampton has the story.
Lexington Police Sergeant Michael Frost says updated computer systems in city police cars are long overdue.
The ones we have are about 5 years old, so they've outlived their prime.
Frost says the department has been looking into these new systems for about 3 years, but the department was waiting on funding.
Money's tight all around.
Rockbridge County Sheriff's Lieutenant Tim Hickman says his department coordinated a grant request that included Lexington, Buena Vista, Glasgow, and VMI police forces and the sheriff's office. The state grant allotted $328,000 for new computer systems. Communication among the police departments and fire and rescue workers has been a problem in the past.
Yeah, we got along, we worked together, but there was limited information sharing.
Hickman says that the new systems will help all the departments communicate with each other more efficiently.
No longer are we confined to the constraints of individual departments.
The sheriff's 12 new computers are laptops. The new software includes GPS tracking and new mapping technology. The Lexington police opted for portable tablets with a keyboard attached. They can even record video.
It's a way to record evidence, information for the department, and to be accountable to the public to make sure that we're performing to the best that we can.
So far, Hickman says, only the sheriff's laptops are up and running. Frost says Lexington should be up and running by the end of April. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Olivia Hampton.
Attorney General Eric Holder said state attorneys general are not obligated to defend laws in their states banning same-sex marriages if the laws discriminate in a way forbidden by the Constitution. This news comes after Virginia Attorney General Mark Herring declined to defend the state's same-sex marriage ban earlier this month in federal circuit court. Herring's office filed an appeal yesterday of the court's decision that the marriage ban was unconstitutional. A statement issued by the Attorney General's office states the appeal was made to hasten the appeals process. In Arizona, a controversial bill won't become law. CNN's Andrew Spencer reports on the governor's veto.
Governor Jan Brewer had said she would do what was right for Arizona.
The bill is broadly worded and could result in unintended and negative consequences.
And with that, she vetoed Senate Bill 1062. Opponents of the controversial bill cheered outside and chanted, "Thank you, Jan." Many had feared the legislation would have given businesses legal backing to deny service to gay and lesbian customers as an assertion of the business owner's religious beliefs. The bill's supporters said it wasn't about condoning discrimination.
It has been extraordinarily distorted as to, the whole struggle that it's been made up to be when it's really not about that at all.
To the supporters of this legislation, I want you to know that I understand that long-held norms about marriage and family are being challenged as never before. However, I sincerely believe that Senate Bill 1062 has the potential to create more problems than it purports to solve.
While opponents of the bill cheered the governor's action,
in her vetoing the bill, I really feel like there's a possible hope for reconciliation within our state, and we can maybe move forward past this really sort of unfortunate chapter.
Some say the fight isn't over, as other states, including Georgia, Kansas, and Missouri, are still considering similar legislation. I'm Andrew Spencer, reporting.
Next on the Rockbridge Report, weather anchor Marielle LaFair will tell you if we'll be getting a break from this cold weather.
Full sunny day at Washington and Lee's campus with temperatures hovering around 40 degrees. However, this weekend we might be expecting a little rain. Stay tuned to find out more.
Restaurant Week continues today in Lexington and Rockbridge County, and that means cheaper lunches and dinner menus. Carolyn Holtzman visited Lexington's eateries.
NFC, AFC, offensive linemen, defensive tackles, quarterbacks, and cornerbacks are all living united to ensure the academic success of millions of kids in our communities all the way to graduation day. But that won't happen without you. So take the pledge at unitedway.org. Make a difference in the life of a child. Suit up like your favorite NFL players and become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor with United Way.
Did you know kids who play outdoors have healthier lungs?
Totally. Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands?
My son has lots of dolls.
But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better?
I did.
It's totally true.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys know statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Yeah. That's obvious.
Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat. Visit safercar.gov/therightseat to make sure your child is protected.
Kids will spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes twice a day.
What?
They have the time.
She was.
Ever wonder what makes us, the Smurfs, so happy? The forest, of course. This is where we, along with the beautiful forest creatures, make our home with beautiful plant life, clean water, and endless
10, 9, 8, 7.
It's a place to celebrate. So discover the forest with your family today. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Restaurant Week continues this week in Lexington and Rockbridge County, and that means cheaper lunches and dinner menus. Carolyn Holtzman visited Lexington's eateries.
A 3-course meal at the Sheridan Livery Restaurant usually costs about $40 per person. This week, you can get the same meal for $10 to $15 less thanks to Restaurant Week.
We're doing a 3 for $30, which gives you an appetizer, entree, and a dessert.
The News-Gazette is Restaurant Week's.
We are doing a better job of being prepared. We're doing a better job of getting the message of preparedness out to our citizens.
There is still snow in the Rockbridge area. The last 2 storms dumped a total of 22 inches of snow. Students at Rockbridge County Schools had 10 days off, but the emergency management did not. Coordinator Robert Forsman says they now have more experience dealing with snow.
We are doing a better job of being prepared. We're doing a better job of getting the message of preparedness out to our citizens.
The cold has come back to Lexington, and weather anchor Marielle LaFair will tell us if it's here to stay. Any chance we'll warm up, Marielle?
Well, Kenzie, we can certainly expect some warmer temperatures this weekend, but for now, let's take a look at current conditions. It's sunny and 41 degrees out with very clear skies. Overnight tonight, we can expect lows to drop into the mid-teens with a low of 11 degrees. Those occasional 25-mile-per-hour wind gusts are making it feel currently like it's more in the low 30s. Looking at what's going on with our neighbors in Western Virginia, we can see they're experiencing very similar conditions as with us, with clear skies and temperatures hovering in the mid-30s to low 40s. Down in Lynchburg, you can even see there is a high of 46. Now let's take a look at our radar. It's showing very little right now, which does explain those clear skies I mentioned earlier. To take a look at our 5-day forecast, we can see that tomorrow there are going to be very similar conditions as there are today. Saturday, however, there will be a high of 49 degrees with partly cloudy skies. Sunday, though, the temperature does reach 59, which is something to be excited about, although there will be a lot of cloud coverage. Monday, there's an 89% chance of rain with temperature around 51. And Tuesday, temperatures are going to drop back down to the low 40s, unfortunately. That's all for now. Back to you, Kinsey.
Thanks, Marielle. Looks like we'll have to wait for a while before it starts to warm back up.
Buena Vista City Council hopes the third time is the charm. Council members recently approved a third request for money to help build a pavilion at the Vista Links Golf Course. The council says it's the last request they want to see. Henley Badcock has more.
The pavilion started out as a small project to replace a broken tint at Buena Vista's golf course. But a year in, the golf course has come to City Council 3 times for money, and the project's cost is at $80,000. City Manager Jay Scudder says the city has provided more than half of that.
Of course, that financial aspect of that vision hasn't panned out quite as well as everybody perceived it would. But it's still an asset and it's here. And so until a decision's made otherwise, we're going to try to make it as nice as we can.
VistaLink's first request was for the $14,000+ the city got for an insurance settlement after a storm destroyed the tent. VistaLink's general manager and golf pro, Ed Armentrout, says he planned to build an A-frame shelter in its place. But citizens pushed to have a bigger and better building.
The Ladies Golf Association got behind it. They actually, when we went to council, they were like, well, why don't we just go ahead, if it's going to be really nice, let's enclose it so we can use it 12 months a year.
Planners envisioned a space for tournament parties and cookouts, but costs jumped once insulated walls, heating and air, a kitchen, and bathrooms were added to the plans. Citizens raised a lot in donations, but a few months ago, Armentrout asked council for an additional $18,000 to complete the project. Armentrout came back for a third time at the beginning of February for what he said was a final request, $10,000. Council approved. Scudder defends the city's support.
The Women's Golf League has raised about $40,000. Since the volunteers raised half the money, the city was committed to support that effort.
Armentrout says he expects to make profit from renting out the pavilion.
We plan to have our high school reunion here on July the 19th of this year, and we're looking forward to it, and we're very impressed with this new facility.
The pavilion still needs drywall, trim work, fresh paint, and other finishing touches before it's ready to be used.
A lot of the last minute tasks are going to be performed by me, so I have to find the time to get it finished.
For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Henley Badcock.
Up after the break, see how homemade turns into cash in hand. And later, we'll tell you which local park has reopened for business.
So what you want to do is, have you already enrolled? You're doing fine.
What did that just do?
Select the drop-down menu again. Wait. You're already enrolled. Example here, so don't panic. You're ready to make your payment. Submit. There it is.
Oh my God! I really can't believe it.
That's awesome. Good for you.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Oh, you should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork. Loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look. Your crush is looking at you. Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach your
likes
kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
Local property owners say selling or renovating are two options they face after a change in Washington and Lee University's housing policy. Trustees voted recently to require third-year students to live on campus beginning as early as 2016. That will take hundreds of students out of the local rental market. So, some rental property owners are already looking to sell. Others say they will renovate their houses to make them safer and more attractive to students. University officials say the new policy was not meant to hurt property owners.
For most school kids, the end of the day means a ride or a walk home, a snack, and on to homework. But students at Rockbridge County Elementary School wrap up their day by spinning their wheels, on a unicycle that is. Reporter Krista Huber went to school.
Last year, a teacher approached Central Elementary Principal Ryan Barber with an unusual idea. Barber says he didn't expect the idea, or the group it spawned, to gain momentum. But today, nearly 40 elementary students have hopped onto unicycles and learned to ride.
I really wasn't anticipating
very much success just because the children are so young, but they have just embraced the idea and the concept and have done an amazing job.
The unicycle group is intended for 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders at Central, but even a 1st grade student has gotten himself into the mix.
My dad got me a unicycle, and then I decided I wanted to ride because my granddad ride. He used to be able to ride down steps. Now he's old, and so now he can't really do it.
Jack's father is Central Elementary PE teacher Stuart Brown. It was Brown who introduced Central students to unicycles. He wanted to offer an interesting activity as part of Central's after-school Ready program.
I went to a conference this summer and one of the teachers had a unicycle, and she just gave me kind of the basics, and I taught myself and said, well, okay, you know, if I can ride, then the kids can ride.
The Ready program started last year when the state awarded Central $200,000 a year through 2015. 4 times a week, the program provides an hour of tutoring and an hour of 20 different creative workshops to choose from.
Our kids are very excited about being part of the Ready program. Like I said, our target was 200 kids participating, and every session that we've had since the very beginning of Ready, we've well exceeded that 230, 250 kids pretty much every session.
Barber says the Ready program is a better alternative to after-school care that parents would otherwise pay for.
We feed the children, we help them with homework, and we also give them an opportunity to play and have fun and learn new skills.
A 4th grader who started riding the unicycle just last month says he was instantly drawn to it.
I said, man, that's going to be fun, and so I signed up and got into it.
For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Krista Huber.
The weather was warm, but local residents celebrated winter at the Lexington Rotary Club's fifth Winter Community Bazaar Saturday at Washington and Lee University's Pavilion. Patrick McCraren was there.
Local businesses and charities set up shop at the Winter Community Bazaar on Saturday to promote themselves. But the event's chair says its importance goes beyond that.
They're just an opportunity for the community to be a community, you know, get out and see the folks you know. It's kind of fun to stand around and chat with somebody you hadn't seen since last summer.
The bazaar is organized by the Lexington Rotary Club. The club raised money for local charities by charging shoppers either $1 or a canned good to get in. Local jeweler Val Trani says the event is a harbinger of winter's end.
It's like the first big event of the year, setting up, getting out of the house, reconnecting with people, seeing customers, my old customers, new customers, and just it's an antidote to cabin fever.
It's also a chance for vendors from many area towns to expand their businesses. Their offerings included candles, jewelry, crafts, photography, and more. Judy LaPiccolo works for Park Lane Jewelry in Charlottesville.
I came to expose the line because not many people have known or heard of Park Lane in this area.
Local volunteer organizations were hoping to make some money as well. Feed the Fire Candles is one of them.
We make and sell 100% soy wax candles in 10 food cans, and for every candle we sell, we donate meals locally to the food banks in the area.
The Lexington Rotary Club says it's on track to make $800 today, which is on par with previous years. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Patrick McCarran.
Stick with us. Sports anchor Alexander Seymour will let you know which basketball teams survived this week and which went home early.
When you throw away money on wasted electricity, you're throwing away everything you could have bought with it. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Chill raw and prepared foods promptly. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
$7,000 high school students drop out every school day.
That's a line of desks, more than 4 miles long. We can keep students in school. Visit boostup.org and take the first step.
Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel announced major military spending cuts earlier this week. CNN's Karen Kaifa explains how every branch will be affected. Basketball's regular season is coming to a close, and for some of the county's teams, postseason tournaments have already started. For all of your Rockbridge sports information, here's Alexandra Seymour.
The high schools got derailed thanks to snow, but the colleges were still in action. VMI's basketball team has its last regular season game on Saturday at Longwood University. The Keydets suffered a 3-point loss against conference leader High Point last night, despite having 4 players in double figures. Longwood is sitting at the bottom of the Big South standings. A win for VMI would guarantee them a 2 seed for the conference tournament and a first-round bye in Myrtle Beach. VMI tips off at Longwood Saturday night at 7. Washington and Lee's postseason continues with an 8 o'clock game against Guilford tomorrow night. The Generals fought their way into the ODAC tournament quarterfinals after a big upset win on the road against Randolph. Randolph had beaten W&L twice before with an average margin of victory of 14 points. Junior captain Jim Etling banged home a 3-pointer with under 2 minutes to go to cement the Generals' win 66-62. W&L looks to advance against Guilford and Salem tomorrow night at 8. SVU's season ended earlier this week with a loss to York College. The Knights were 6-15 before taking the floor against the 4-20 Spartans. The Knights had 4 players score over 14 points, but York's front court combined for 39 points before senior guard Mike Matthews added 13. The Spartans got their 5th win of the season as they beat SVU 86-82. A couple of men's teams may have survived the week, but the women weren't as fortunate. Washington and Lee's women's basketball team made it to the postseason, but not very far. The Generals lost in the first round of the ODAC tournament on Tuesday to rival Roanoke College. The blue and white were in the middle of a 3-game slump before making the trip to Roanoke. Generals freshman guards Jackie Clifford and Cam Tyler scored 28 of the Generals' 44 points, but the Maroons proved too much. Roanoke shot close to 40% from the floor and 35% from 3 as they smashed W&L 61-44. SVU's women also ended their season with a loss to York College. The Knights looked overmatched, only scoring 39 points to the Spartans' 75. The top scorers had SVU only had 9 points, while no York starters scored less than 7. The Knights finish up their season at 3-22, while York finished their regular season at 23-2. That's all we've got for you in Sports Block. While basketball is wrapping up, don't worry. I'll still keep you up to date on all the sports you need to know. I'm Alexandra Seymour. Back to you, Kinsey.
Thanks, Alexandra. Rough losses for SVU and the W&L women, but hopefully VMI and the W&L men can keep their streaks going. I don't have anything. Restaurant Week continues today in Lexington and Rockbridge County, and that means cheaper lunch and dinner menus. Carolyn Holtzman visited Lexington's eateries.
A 3-course meal at the Sheridan Livery restaurant usually costs about $40 per person. This week, you can get the same meal for $10 to $15 less thanks to Restaurant Week.
We're doing a 3 for $30, which gives you an appetizer, entree, and a dessert.
The News-Gazette is Restaurant Week's main promoter. Publisher Matt Paxton came up with the idea to help boost the local economy.
January and February are a terrible time for many businesses, but particularly for the restaurant business. Not only is it a bad time, I mean, it's just a slow time for restaurants, but a lot of people have got cabin fever, and they're looking for something new and something to do. And this is just another something to get them out of the house and come into town and have a nice dinner and enjoy an evening.
12 local restaurants changed their menus as part of Restaurant Week. Kind Roots Cafe wanted to participate to meet more people from the area.
We definitely wanted to be involved with the community more. That's pretty much why we started the restaurant, was to become involved with community, especially with the health and nutrition aspect. And we thought, when we heard about Restaurant Week, we really wanted to get involved.
Restaurant Week will continue through Sunday. Restaurant owners say they have already seen a boost in business, and they're hoping for more.
I hope it brings more people downtown, and we get to show off all these wonderful restaurants we have. We're kind of a lucky community that way.
For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Carolyn Holtzman.
Natural Bridge has reopened 1 week ahead of schedule. The park was slated to open on March 1st after its sale to the Virginia Conservation Legacy Fund, but the new owners beat their mark. The park and gift shop will be open 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., but the hotel won't open until March 14th. The Legacy Fund will maintain control of the park until it pays off a $9.1 million loan it received from the state. After that, the bridge and over 1,500 acres surrounding it will become a state park. That's all for this newscast. I'm Kinsey Grant.
And I'm Stephen Young. Don't forget to check us out on the web at www.rockbridgereport.washingtonandlee.net. Good night.